Hey everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing splendidly. I am good. I feel a little bit like a newsreader actually today, filming this. I don't know why, but I'm not reading the news. That's not the point of this, far from it. I am here to do another astro video. I've not done one since last September, so I felt like it was high time in time for new moon in Taurus, like a particularly charged new moon in Taurus tomorrow, where I want to talk about manifesting and seeding intentions and all manner of things. And of course, it's no coincidence that this is what I want to do, considering both Mercury and Venus. Mercury doesn't help me speak any clearer, but both Mercury and Venus are in the sign of Gemini, which is all about communication. Anyway, so before I start to talk about the energy of this new moon and how we can use it to manifest, let me just touch really briefly on the moon energy herself, because she obviously is incredibly important. Astrologers are always banging on about the moon, and this is because, well, she governs feelings, emotions and moods. And so actually it's really useful to really tap into the moon energy to kind of help us decipher what's going on deep inside, because as well, the moon governs our instincts, our primal instincts, our deepest, most hidden feelings, because of course the moon comes out at night, right? So it's all about subconscious energy, it's about intuition, about psychic abilities, and of course from a visible earthly perspective, then of course the moon governs as well the gravitational pull of the tides. So it's like a super ebbing, flowing, fluctuating energy that's really aligned with and reflects the laws of the universe, the natural laws of the universe, the cycles of the universe. And by the way, the reason I am referring to the moon as a she is because, well, she's a feminine energy, hence the fact that she rules moods, emotions and feelings. But no, I mean, she's actually also the original Holy Trinity. She's the original Holy Trinity. So she's the maiden when she's waxing, she's the mother when she's full, and she's the crone when she's waning. That word, by the way, has been so misappropriated over the centuries. You know, it's got such a derogatory connotation, hasn't it? But actually crone energy is all about having accrued the wisdom of one's life, and really being being able to offer that wisdom and that deep-seated knowledge to others. You know, it's incredibly powerful energy. So the moon, incredibly powerful. And of course, Mother Nature herself is a feminine energy. And we are part of nature, so we are part of this ebbing, flowing, constantly fluctuating. We're part of the whole fabric of the universe, let's face it. So this is one of the points I really want to kind of, hit home with today, is that it's so good for us. It's so good for us when we really align ourselves and get in tune with the cycles of the moon and also the natural laws of the universe, and with the current whatever energies are apparent around us, within us at any one given time. We can really utilize, we can really be aligned with that, and become incredibly powerful beings, with the ability to manifest whatever we dream of. So new moon, new moon is all about seeding intentions. It's all about new beginnings, and really kind of dropping away from the mind, in order to really kind of figure out what it is that we truly want, what it is that's important to us. And it's a time for seeding intentions, our desires, our true desires. Normally we do this at the beginning of every new moon, in order to manifest for the month ahead, but this, like I said, is a particularly potent new moon. And so the effects, what we put into play, or the choices that we make at this point in time will be really, it's almost like there'll be like a springboard, there'll be a springboard for a future that goes way beyond just a month. Why is it so potent this month? Well, from a numerological perspective, it's happening tomorrow on May the 11th, and there are 3 planets at 11 degrees. We've got Mercury at 11 degrees of Gemini, we've got Chiron and Aries at 11 degrees, and we have got Uranus in Taurus at 11 degrees. And of course, it's 2021 at the moment. Sometimes feels like it's still 2020, but no, it's 2021. And the moon in Taurus and the sun, because the sun and the moon are always together at every new moon, they're both at 21 degrees of Taurus. And so there's like a real alignment going on numerologically. Furthermore, we are currently about to land on eclipse season. So we're in May, and the first lunar eclipse is going to be taking place on the 26th of May. So there's a lot of energy. The energies are super ramped up at the moment, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling just so called to, really play my part now in steering the unfolding of events in a way that we all in the way that we all want. It's what's happening on the planet right now. It's so incredible. And at times I feel excited, at times I feel scared, terrified, glorious as well, when you get to a point where you kind of surrender and accept the divine will and the unfolding of all events, and this is the way it is, and blah 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 blah. There's a real kind of deep peace and, well, yeah, bliss that comes from that. But it's also a bit of a red herring as well that I wanted to bring up, because we're shifting, there's no two ways about that, but the key question is, what are we shifting towards? Because this is where I really want to drive home to us as well, is that the end result, what's going to happen is going to be entirely up to us, entirely based on the choices that we make. Which is why it's so important for us now to really drop deep inside to kind of figure out what is it that we want for the planet. What do we want to create now as a collective? How do we want things to unfold? Because, like I said, it's entirely up to us. Thy will be done. Like this trusting malarkey, does have like the kind of teensiest of implications that we can kind of sit back and, just trust in the divine will, and keep on blindly buffooning on ahead, as we've always done, led by our errant minds. And our minds are just basically a heap of programs that have been conditioned and structured in a certain way according to our own individual psychology. And it's all an illusion. All these old beliefs, outdated beliefs and conditioning about this, that, the other. And, I know all about this because for most of my life, and I still struggle with it now, I'm kind of dominated by my mind, my own astrological chart. So half of it's in Scorpio, the other half all in air planets. And the air dominates, or air governs the intellect, so the rational mind, logic, judging, thinking, analysing, ruminating. When I first started to learn to meditate, oh my goodness, I was in Chiang Mai, I was at a monastery actually, and I couldn't bear it, my mind, I couldn't handle I didn't even know how to do it, the whole dropping of the mind and the structure of who I thought I was, to drop into the body, just to come into stillness was so alien to me. I couldn't bear it. I ended up escaping one afternoon just so I could buy some cigarettes. I'm not joking. It was just like, I just couldn't do it. I find it so incredibly alien. It's just such a weird concept. Who am I without this mind and these opinions and this constant chattering? Because absolutely, it's so difficult actually to let go of this old mental conditioning. It's all that we think that we actually are, or that we think that we should be doing, we should be wanting, and just to drop all of that. And that's what true surrender is all about, really. And being as this new moon is in Taurus ruling the body, it's a great time to go into the body and surrendering, letting go of all of this noise and going into the stillness where all the wisdom resides, where all the divine guidance is that can help us make the right choices, to help align us towards our best own individual expression. We're all so powerful, we really are, and make no mistake about it, we're all inextricably woven into this universe. So as I said, we all play an integral, there's no sitting back and doing nothing about it. Even if we do that, that's still a part, we're still doing something, and we're all an incredibly integral part of how this whole play is going to wind up unfolding. We're all so powerful. Don't need a middleman. We are the divine. We're all divine beings. Now, another reason why this new moon is so potent Quite a few other reasons. I'll just name a couple more. So firstly, as I said, the sun and the moon, they're both conjunct. They're both next to each other in Taurus. So the moon is really happy in Taurus as well. And Taurus symbolizes or corresponds to, governs, amongst other things, joy, peace, prosperity, abundance. Also our intrinsic values, our values that we can find in our deep inside. So it's nothing to do with our logical mind, what our mind thinks we value, because our minds have been programmed. And so it's actually about dropping into the body, into the stillness, and into our intuition, moon energy, to really kind of figure out what is it that we value and what kind of planet do we want to be living on. You know, what do our hearts want? What do our bodies want? You know, what does our own innate knowing want? And the moon and the sun are also trining Pluto, one of the outer planets. Incredibly powerful energy. Pluto governing transformation and power. So we can really harness that energy in order to give a little bit of added extra oomph to our values and to our sense of what gives to whatever gives us joy and that sense of peace. As well as the sun and moon being in Taurus, by the way, we've also got Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus is another outer planet. It's been in Taurus for a few years. It's going to be in Taurus for a few more years. And Uranus symbolizes or governs chaos, sudden change, revolution, radical change, shock, disorder, you know, eruptions, electricity, lightning bolts, all that kind of things, like sudden, powerful, something that comes out of the blue, out of nowhere. And it's in Taurus symbolizing, amongst other things, Earth. So if Uranus is newness and innovation and sudden change, then of course what we're looking at is a new Earth. So, and as we already know, that the old sun is setting, but ultimately, you know, what kind of sun is going to rise, you know, that's going to be up to us to decide. So even if you're not familiar with astrology or you don't have much interest in astrology and you're still watching this, well done. But you're going to be familiar with the phrase Age of Aquarius. This is what we entered into in December, and it's a whole 2,000-year cycle. And Aquarius is community. It's all about individuality, utopia, technology, freedom as well. But, you know, how this is going to play out, how this age is going to play out, again, I'm going to say it again, it's up to us. It's not already been orchestrated. It's not down to fate. It's up to us and what we want. And, you know, whether we're able to harness our own individual power in order to believe that actually our desires and our visualizations and our innermost changes actually make a difference. So how is this technology going to be used? Because without a doubt, we're moving into an incredibly technologically advanced era, right? So, but how is it going to be used? Well, it can go one of two ways, like everything, you know, it can be used in a more negative or a hugely positive way. So for start, you know, technology can be used for us to connect with each other, you know, can be used so that we can learn from each other in a peer-to-peer based way. And most importantly, you know, it can be used to really navigate disaster, so that we can rebuild and adapt to the sudden changes that are imminent in the natural world, in the environment. So I'm talking about a future that's highly futuristic, highly technologically advanced, you know, very sophisticated technology that has adapted to the natural laws of the universe, the natural world, because that's what's necessary, really. Because what we're actually on the fringes of as well is, you know, huge huge climate change. We've got Neptune in Pisces until 2025, which indicates flooding, and we've got Uranus in Taurus till 2026, which indicates earthquakes and that kind of thing. So yeah, you know, how is this going to be dealt with, and how are we going to be able to deal with the aftermath? Conversely, technology can be used in a different way. It can be used to create an ever more structured, metallic kind of existence. I'm talking about like a dystopian prison that benefits no one apart from a very small percentage. But the thing is, no matter how much we try to control what's going on in the outside environment, or how we try and resist or try to cling on to old structures and old ways of being, the fact is, we can't. My papers are flying away. We can't stop force of nature, and we cannot stop the flow of the universe, the flow of creation. It's not possible. And on that note, I wanted to read out a quote from, I don't know whether you've heard of her. She is amazing, Vandana Shiva. I'm so obsessed with her. She is an Indian scholar, environmental activist, eco-feminist, anti-globalist, like a destabilizer of Monsanto and Bill Gates. I watched an interview with her and he said Bill Gates. I'd like to see that. An interview with her and Russell Brand the other evening, and it was so funny. It was the first time I've ever seen Russell Brand speechless. He was completely floored by her presence and her wisdom and her grace, actually her majesty. Anyway, I'm going to put a link to that in the comments. Anyway, on the note of the importance of aligning ourselves with nature and aligning ourselves with natural energy, she says, when a person is aligned with nature, they become a force of nature. If we realize that we live in a powerful world of energy, and that energy is the creative energy of the universe, and our power is the spiritual power of aligning ourselves with that power, then we are very powerful. We just have to ensure that none of us allow our ego to overtake us. None of us allow hate and division to become the way we start to think. And third, none of us ever give up the power we have. We are powerful beings in a powerful world. So yeah, this is time to dig deep, get in touch with our feelings, our bodies, our instincts, and really make some decisions, knowing that we're powerful, knowing that the divine is in all of us, and we can move forward in a way. We can make changes. We can rely on our innermost resources. We don't need a middleman. So we can make choices. We can make new kinds of choices. We can choose not to believe old things that don't serve us or don't serve the common good of people. Because ultimately we all want to be free. But this is the thing with freedom. We all want to be free. But the choices that we make, are they? What these choices made based on? Are they based on what everyone else wants or what people think that we should want? Are they based on a false notion that in order to be free, we should be able to do all the kinds of things that actually ultimately cause us harm? I'm going back to the smoking thing. I did a retreat in Perth again about 10 years ago, and the guru was phenomenally entertaining. He was amazing. He was talking about, well, is that real freedom? What requires most effort for you to hold the cigarette or to drop the cigarette? Drop it. And drop also, all the other things that we don't need, that require effort, everything that we're holding on to that doesn't serve us, resentment, guilt, shame, pride, ego. It's not easy. I'm not saying I've cracked all of this, far from it. But, it's something to be really aware of, drop our feelings that we're not powerful, that we're not worthy. All of this is a complete illusion. We're more than worthy and we're more than powerful. One of my own misconceptions, illusions about the notion of freedom is that I had to keep all my options open in order to feel free, which doesn't even make any sense. Because if you're standing here, you've got all of these doors, with all of your open options, then you're actually stuck, aren't you? Because you can't move forward and make a commitment to any one thing, because you have to stay here in order to safeguard all the other options, and you've got a myriad of things going on in your mind. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, one of the many paradoxes of the universe really is that freedom is commitment, and there's huge freedom in just stillness. There's freedom in letting go. There's freedom, in all those kinds of things that we think keep us boxed in, but actually do not. So It's quite dark now, isn't it? Anyway, that's it really. That's all I wanted to talk to you about today. Make some magic. It's a very amped up time for it. Go out into nature, you know, there's a reason why nature, walking in the woodlands or walking in the mountains or whatever you want to do, feels so soothing. You know, it's because nature heals, she restores, she gives real balance. That's another Taurus word. Gives a real balance to the system, the physical system. And it replenishes, it'll give you energy, it'll help you, you know, the energy that you'll get from being in nature, or just dropping this nonsense, you know what I mean. But it is nonsense. Just dropping it and going into the body, our own nature, and just allowing ourselves to reside in the heart, and then letting that energy and the magic of that energy just propel us forward to make the kind of decisions that are really going to make a positive impact and positive change in our lives. So yes, we are, each and every one of us, integral part of this throbbing, fluctuating, changing, I don't know, magical, crazy, destructive, fertile, messy universe, all indisputably part of this universe. So yeah, make some magic. This is an amazing time for it, and thank you for listening. I will be back.